Underworld Ministry. What is going on? As I promised, we would have another number 2. Unfortunately, our guest didn't show up last week, but I promised you another big show. So, as you've seen in the promotions, Ashmore Estates Part 2. We talked to them about a year ago, but we have something new. We have the co-owner of Ashmore Estates. She became co-owner at the beginning of this year, around January. So let's talk about their experiences. We're going to go more into the paranormal side. We went through the history last time, but let's bring our good friend Robin on and our new friend Ash. What's going on, guys? How are you?
Doing pretty well.
Good. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm glad to finally meet you. We talk all the time. You're the one that sold me the awesome hoodie.
I did.
But it's like the first time we get to talk. Me, Robin, we've talked a couple times.
Yep.
So how's the good old Ashmore going? Anything new since we've talked last, or?
There's nothing new at the property or anything other than that sweet girl down below us there that has come in to kind of take over some things here down the road.
What are you sucking up for?
I'll tell you later.
So we were talking a little bit, Ash. You've lived in the area for many, many years. Well, no, you didn't live in the area.
No, I actually moved 2 hours north for this.
Oh, wow. Where did you come from?
I live down in the Alton area, actually, is where I'm from.
Okay.
About 2 hours south of here. And I actually moved 2 hours north for a building.
Hey, it's an awesome building to move to.
Yes, it is.
So how did I know you guys you've been in the building a lot before you co-owned it and everything. How did the co-ownership happen? Do you want to talk about that for a little bit, or?
I inserted foot in mouth and made a joke one day and said, if you just build a house next door, I'll just move up here. And that was a joke.
You're even specific. You said, if I build a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, you move in.
I did.
So
it was supposed to be a joke, though.
Yeah, I called her a couple years later and said, you said a 3-2, right? And she's like, what? I said, you said a 3-2. Mm-hmm. You move in.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah. I said, well, I'm going to do it. I said, so if you're interested in moving in, let me know. So she told me, wow. Can you give me a week to think about it? I'm like, yeah, because if you don't do it, somebody else is going to.
Yeah.
She called me back and said, let's do it.
Yeah. That's awesome. And I'm now sitting in that house. So.
Yep.
Hey, man.
And I'm just in an old building.
Crazy things happen in this world, I tell you. So, you guys, I know, Robin, you don't really accept photos or videos or anything as we were talking last time. Are you more different, Ash? Do you like seeing the evidence? Do you like doing your own evidence in the building?
I honestly couldn't tell you the last time I generally sat over there and investigated, just because I'm over there all the time. But I do like sitting over there and talking with teams that come out, just seeing what they get, or the evidence that they get, because a lot of times it's stuff that we've had happen, or I know Robin talks a lot about this. A lot of times I won't have them tell me where it happened, but I'll say, what did happen, but don't tell me where it was. And a lot of times I will tell them where it happened just because of the experiences. And a lot of times it kind of freaks people out that we can guess where they were when it happened just because of the experiences that they had. So that's kind of interesting, but it's not just the building either. I mean, I don't think there's most of the time when you go somewhere, people always want to know what the hot spots are. And we always say it's basically when you pull in the driveway, because there isn't a part of the building that hasn't had something happen.
Right.
That includes outside. We've had stuff that's happened outside. We've had stuff in each of the bunkhouses, and my house is not off limits either. We have stuff that happens over here. So there isn't that quote unquote safe space, if
Right.
you're looking for that.
Do you think that they follow you from Ashmore to your house because it's so close, or?
I think it's just because we're on the land. So I think it's that. The house is built on one of the original slabs that was here. There was a building that sat here. It was like a machine shop, I think, or a laundromat that burnt down. So it's one of the original slabs.
Wow.
And it's on the land. It's on the property.
Right.
So I think it's kind of all the above.
Got you. Now, I know I was trying to think about it, and I went outside and watched the video that I was trying to think of. So when Jack was there, he brought out cadaver dogs and everything, and they all hit at the same spot. Is that what you're talking about, more of like land-wise? Do you think there's still bodies in the ground, or?
I think there's probably bodies out there in different locations that we just don't know about.
Just like unmarked bodies and everything?
Right. Because, I mean, there's a lady that used to live out there when her dad was superintendent, and she would sit there on the third floor, and she was probably, I guess Nancy was 8, 9, 10 years old, something like that at the time, and she said she'd seen somebody digging in the back field. And she never could figure out what it was about or why they were out there digging until later on, as she got older, she realized that they were probably digging a grave out back to bury someone. And during the time when there's bees outside, a lot of times you can look out there and there's a discoloration in the ground out there in that particular area where there must be something chemically different between the soil there and other parts of the fields.
Oh, wow. More like a gravesite or something. You don't see any, like when the coffins break down, you have a little indent in the ground. Is there a bunch of those in the fields, or?
No, and I doubt there was even coffins used.
Oh, so they just laid them in the ground and buried them.
Yeah, you have to figure these were people that no one paid any attention to or cared about. So anything they did was probably fine with the locals.
Right. And then you're talking about more about the poor farm part of it.
Right. Yeah, that's when she stayed there, was during the poor farm, not during the hospital.
Got ya. Now, if you're watching this and you've never seen Ashmore Estates, this is a beautiful building. Robin's done a lot to restore it. We talked a little bit about what Robin loved about the building last time. Ashley, what do you love about the building?
He's pushing it today, let me tell you. I honestly can't pinpoint one thing. It's one of those, the first time or second time I came here, there was just something about it that kind of, I don't know. I don't want to say like I fell in love with the building, but I mean, that's the best way to put it. It's one of those that I just kept wanting to come back and never leave, kind of. And that's why we call it home, because I literally would say it's my home away from home before I moved up here. And now it literally is home. It's one of those places, like, I can go in there if I'm feeling like just crappy and having a bad day. And I know it sounds really weird, but it makes me feel better. As weird as that sounds, it kind of calms me down. Like, I don't know how to explain it.
Maybe the spirits know that you're in a crappy mood and they're consulting you more.
It literally is just home. Is how I would put it.
Yeah, I have a haunt here that I feel the same way.
That's like when the first time I'd been over there and looked at the building was back in April of 2014, and walking through the building, because I live 2 hours away myself.
Yeah.
And, right now I'm 2 hours from Ashmore in Auburn, Illinois, and there was something about when I walked on that second floor that was pretty much saying, "Help our building." And I never felt that the people that were there, the spirits that were there, wanted help themselves, but they wanted their building help. And I had a friend of mine who told me that he said the spirits from the theater that you have, because you fix that all up and you live in that now. He's like, they're probably trawling you over there to Ashmore and say, you should see what he's done to our place. And so I think that might have something to do with it.
Yeah.
But it was like it's just some reason that I had to have it and had to do it. And we had so many people come over there that have the same feelings that Ashley's had as well as I had. They don't want to leave. I mean, we've got some people that will be out there 4 and 5 times a year, to come out there and investigate, and they're paying the same price every time they come out there, and they just keep coming back. But that's why we picked up when the original guy that did the artwork for me at Ashmore, he asked me, he said, "You got it all done." He said, "You want stuff like we had before with skulls and everything?" I'm like, "No, I want something more pertinent to the poor farm." And so he did it. And I said, "Well, I need a tagline." And so I came up with the idea that some call it home, because I really think that's what the case is. And anybody that comes in there usually always want to come back, and they don't want to leave. I mean, it's that simple.
That's the logo and the saying on the back of my hoodie right now.
Yep.
Well, and Cindy Casa, Cindy said the same thing in the episode.
She hit the nail on the head. So when she said that, I mean, it's exactly like how it feels. It's, you walk in there and it's possessed, not in a bad way, like not in the demon way, like everybody wants to say, but it's there's just something about it that draws you back to it.
Well, it was people's home, like, for many, many years. So maybe it just absorbed that kind of energy in the bricks and the building part of, that's the only place that people had to go that they called home. So I love your logo. I love it. I love the hoodie. I know I keep saying that, but I wear it all the time. I'm in Florida heat and I still wear it. So I know we were talking a little bit more of like the boiler room and everything, but everybody thinks that the boiler room and the basement and everything is haunted. Where do you think is the most haunted in the building? More like activity, shadows, whatever.
Personally, for me, I've had experiences from the boiler room all the way upstairs, so it didn't make any difference. I mean, I think it was the second or third weekend I owned the building, I almost got tripped down there in the boiler room, middle of the afternoon, and Ashley will back me up on this, which is a misnomer because everyone's come out there at night. The most active time in that building is generally during the day.
Yep.
They just, nobody wants to investigate during the day because they don't do that on TV, supposedly, so they don't want to do it out there.
Well, since I've talked to you last, I've done like Eloise and Trans Allegheny and everything, interviewed them, and they say the same thing. Like, it come during the day. It's when everybody was awake, when everything happened. I'm okay investigating anytime. And a lot of places don't charge that much during the day. It's a little cheaper during the day than it is at night. I know you guys went through a thing where you guys kind of had to change your prices due to economy and everything. Did that change anything of people coming in and investigating, or?
No, we're booking for next year already, and I'm still booking like crazy. So it hasn't so far. I haven't seen it affect us at all, which is a good thing because I was a little worried about it, especially when we first talked about doing it, especially with me just taking over. I didn't want people to think that I was doing it because I was taking over, because that was the last thing I wanted to do. Because he had brought it up, earlier in the year to do it. And I actually, for once, the one time I said, no, we're not doing that, because I definitely didn't want people to think, oh, she's just taking over and now she's changing the prices. And because that's not why I'm doing this. I have a day job plus this. So, this is not, I'm doing it because I love this. I'm not doing it to make money.
Right.
So even though we have changed it and, we didn't go crazy with it, we only went up, $50, $25, whatever it was.
Right.
So I haven't seen it change, thankfully. And, we're still not one of the highest places, compared to some other locations at all, especially with all the things that we have out here that we offer people. And, like he said, and I will back up the daytime thing. I mean, we have stuff that happens at night, obviously, but I've probably had more stuff over there during the day. when I'm just in there like cleaning or doing stuff over there.
Yeah.
Especially in the morning time. The morning time seems to be a really active time.
What is it more of like people walking around the halls like half asleep, or does it just sound like people are waking up and getting ready for the day?
I think it's just everything. I mean, people have got, EVPs, footsteps, voices. It just kind of depends. It's kind of just all over the place.
Now, I've always wondered this because they talk about energy and everything. Does it storm out there a lot? I don't know about that area of the United States. I know it rains here every day. Like, is there a lot of storms out there?
We get storms out there during the spring, through the summer. I mean, yeah, there's thunderstorms that come through. Does it make a difference? I don't know. In fact, I've always had a personal feeling with that. Unless you're investigating everything at the same time with the same energy and same storms, same weather, and all, it's hard to tell.
Well, that was going to be my question.
I honestly really haven't noticed a difference when if it's storming or whatnot. I think it just really depends on who's in there and who's investigating. I honestly think, especially here, the spirits, I think they know why people are here and why they're doing it, and what their energy is. And I think they kind of know when to kind of show off and when not to, if that makes sense.
Can you explain that a little bit? What do they do?
I think they kind of know why people are here. Like if they're here for, the right reasons, if they're here for the wrong reasons type thing. So if they're here, to actually learn and investigate and have fun and that kind of thing, I think they tend to kind of come out more than the people that come out and they're trying to, I don't know, antagonize them or that kind of thing. Cause they definitely will show off back. I mean, if you come out here and you cuss them out, they're going to do it right back. Or if you come out and you're calling them out, they're gonna come out and come at you, not in a bad way, because there's nothing negative or anything like that here. I don't care what anybody says. But I mean, they're gonna come out and do what you're doing. I mean, it's their home, so if you come and be disrespectful, they're gonna do it right back.
Well, that's what I say to everybody. You be an asshole to somebody in real life, and you're gonna get it right back. So.
Yep.
I mean,
I always kind of thought they shut down a lot more too when you get the guy that's in there, and I don't have a problem with skeptics at all. I'm never worried about trying to prove to a skeptic that there's actually something out there. That's not for me to prove it to them. That's for them to figure it out themselves.
Right.
But I think if you walk in there, it's like, I don't believe in this crap. It's like, well, then why should I? If I was a spirit, it's like, why should I talk to you? Because you don't believe in anything. So I think the building shuts down a lot of times when somebody walks in there with a negative attitude.
Yeah.
And, doesn't want to, it's like, I'm not, if I was a spirit, I'd be like, I'm not wasting my time with this guy or this group, because all they want to do is come in here and say that there's no such thing as this. And they're trying to prove that the building isn't haunted. And, and I don't even like that word, but they're trying to prove that there's no spiritual energy in that building. And so I think the spirits are like, go away. We don't have time for you. We're just, they have mind of their own. They probably have mental, ability sometimes, thinking that we're not screwing around with people that we don't deal with. So
but you don't even believe me. I got better shit to do.
Pretty much it. Yeah.
That's only when they come over here and bother me.
So with you being there and being owner and everything now, do you get, I don't know how to word this. Do you feel like the more and more that you've been going and now that you're an owner, do you feel like you get more energy than when you were just going there randomly? Since you're there more?
I mean, I definitely have noticed since I've been living here the last 3 years, I've definitely noticed more activity or energy, I guess. But I think that's just because I'm here now 24/7. When before I was coming up like maybe every weekend or every other weekend and helping out, doing like tours and stuff. But now I'm here all the time. So I've definitely noticed a lot more just because I'm here. And then since I have been here all the time, a lot of times I'm just like, oh, that's what we're going to do today. Okay, cool. Just because I'm used to it. I mean, once in a while, something will happen that kind of shocks me. And it's like, oh, that's something new. And then, I'm still trying to figure it out for days or weeks. So, I mean, there is stuff new that does happen once in a while that I haven't seen or heard or whatever. But I mean, I love it. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. So they're stuck.
Yeah, I was going to show a couple photos of some of the hallways and inside of the building.
Wow, those are old pictures.
Yeah. And so I tried to go through, but I've been so busy. My car broke down today, and I didn't have a lot of time today. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
We're going to go back to nostalgia days, I guess. What is your oh my god moment like since you've been there?
Well, mine is definitely seeing the tall shadow man for sure. And just to prove a point, I wasn't investigating and it wasn't nighttime. I was just in the building cleaning, and it was a Sunday morning at like 10:30 in the morning, and I saw like a 6.5 foot tall black shadow.
What part of the building?
In the kitchen on the first floor.
Wow.
Yeah.
You didn't hear anything? You kind of just stood there?
Well, before it happened, I was hearing footsteps, like really loud footsteps. I mean, it sounded like somebody had concrete boots on. And at that time, we were building the house, so there was people over here building it. So I thought maybe somebody had came in the building. So of course, I went out in the hallway and looked and didn't see anybody. So I went back into where I was cleaning, and then I looked up, and it was not probably an arm length away. I saw the big I could see his whole outline, his head, shoulders, everything. Wow. And that's the one and only time I've ever ran out of the building.
Wow.
And it was more just because at that time it freaked me out because I wasn't expecting anything like that. But I've seen him several times since then now, and it's not as bad.
Yeah, no, I couldn't imagine. That's one thing I have not been able to see yet is shadow figure. And hopefully, fingers crossed, I see it one day. But
there's a lot of people that see shadow figures there at the building.
All the time.
Especially on the hallways. Like I always tell people, just find a comfortable spot and sit down and just let the building come to you. And it generally does.
That's exactly what they told us at Pennhurst too. Just sit down and don't walk. Wow.
Most of my experiences in the building have all been when I've been working in there, and they've all been pretty much during the day because I'm usually not working at night. But yeah, it's like it happens all the time. And I mean, I've heard anything from been almost tripped in the boiler room. Heard voices up on the third floor when I was up there, people walking up the stairs, talking a full conversation. Then when I was up doing some electrical work, which Cindy actually brings up in the episode about putting electrical work, and something was up there just pretty much, I'm not going to say scared me out of the building, but pretty much like kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And I always kind of explain it as like, you're that person, you go into a room, to a party, and you look around and everybody's like, why is he here? It was that type of feeling. And I'm like, finally, I'm like, okay, if you guys aren't, if you're having a party later and I'm not invited, that's fine. I'll just leave now. And so I took off, but it was like an hour or so because I kept letting it push me. So it happens. Things happen throughout the entire building. You can't ever, narrow it down. And it all happens different times to different people, and just, it's just different experiences they have.
Wow. Yeah, I was talking to the Doss house, and they were saying that more like dusk area, like right before the sun, and like that the more dusk area happens more. But yeah, that's one thing my dad jokes about. He's like, "Well, why can't you find ghosts during the day?" You can. I'll take you. Let's go. I'll prove it right now. What is that new show? That's not the Holzer Files. Or is it the Holzer Files that Cindy Kazar and Dave Schreiber?
It's the cast from the Holzer Files, but it's not actually the Holzer Files. They call it Paranormal Mysteries. But it's still Shane and Dave and Cindy.
Okay. Now, how did that come about? Did they contact you and like, can we do this? And because I know they did a little bit in your theater. We talked about that a bit last time we talked. Was it, hey, let's filming an episode? Can I come in? Or
I talked to actually Shane or Dave. I forget which one called and talked to me and asked me about if I was interested in having him do it. And I said, yeah, if you guys want to do it, that's fine. So they had a producer call me and talk about it. And they usually try to set these things up if you're not familiar with how they do it. But the producer will call you and say, hey, this is what we're doing. We want to come out. We want to investigate. We want to do this for a show. And he told me, because we also want to do your theater. Like, all right. He said, so we're going to have you on the episode with the theater, but we're not going to have you on the episode at Ashmore because we don't want to make it look like we've got a paid actor doing stuff for us. I'm like,
right.
I don't care. It's like, it doesn't make any difference. It's about the building. It's not about me anyway. And so they came, we started talking a little bit more about it and everything. And he was asking me about the building and why I bought it and everything. And I told him, I said, well, about my friends, there's a psychic told me that he said the spirits from the theater probably follow you out to Ashmore. And then he asked me a couple other questions along that line. And I said, yeah, I said, I think they do. I think they kind of travel back and forth. And I said, and there's one spirit in particular, I think that's been out there before that you really don't want him here, don't want him there, don't want him anywhere. I said, but he kind of makes that trip. And so he decided, I think we're going to make this a 2-part episode and talk about the spirits traveling back and forth. And so that's what they decided to do. So, in the one they shot at Ashmore, then they asked me to take part of, in that. And like that, in fact, I don't know if it's Ashley or somebody told me, it's like, yeah, we could tell. I was hurting that week they were out there. And had some health issues going on.
That's an understatement.
So, but the show must go on. So, so we got it all taken care of and everything, and put the whole thing together. And then they came out to the theater, that same week and shot here at the theater. And I think the episode at the theater is definitely going to tie the two together.
Can you keep that person away from here, please?
So, yeah, exactly. But and I can talk about the person she's talking about because it's been brought before, John Wayne Gacy, and he showed up here at the theater, and then
I don't want him here.
So I think there's only been one encounter of him out there at the at Ashmore, but in the episode that they shot at Ashmore, if you listen to it, Cindy talks about a real estate person that's out there and smoking cigars and all, some other stuff and everything. And so it's kind of interesting. So, I obviously haven't seen the episode they shot at the theater. It's coming out Friday. And so it'll be interesting to see what that is. I saw the one trailer today, and I don't remember if we even talked about this and when we did the reveal here, but she talked about, a Mike here at the theater, and there was a barbershop across the street from me, Mike's Barbershop. And Mike would come over here and talk to me, not every day, but he'd come over here once in a while and just talk to me and everything about, stuff. Well, he passed away years ago. So I don't know if she was talking to Mike or not, but it was kind of cool when I listened to the trailer that they had out there today, and it talked about Mike.
So the one part that I saw in the trailer, like I said, I haven't watched the whole trailer yet, but the little clip that I did see, I know you collect like spirit boxes and everything. Do you think, from what they said, that like spirits connect to your spirit box and travel with you? You think that's true? Do you think that's a thing, or?
I think spirits can attach themselves to anything they want, and I don't think there's anything that's off limits, so to speak. But those spirit boxes, there's quite a few of them in there. Not as many as there used to be. So, So yeah, either some of them I either sold or for certain purposes or gave away just to a couple of friends. And but yeah, I think that things can probably attach to them just like they can attach to anything else. I mean, that's kind of what this whole Gacy situation was from an attachment here at the theater.
Right. Now you own, I think it's probably gonna get this horribly, a Frank box. Is that what it's called?
Yeah. Some of them look like this.
Yeah.
Just so happen to have one sitting on my desk.
Right.
But yeah, Frank Sumption made these boxes. They were actually the original boxes for ITC. And Frank he actually used these to try to connect with aliens. He wasn't using them for ghosts. He was using them for aliens. But I've caught some pretty interesting things on them, and had some pretty good experiences with them.
Well, just since you brought it up, I don't want to move too far off Ashmore. How did you know that the Spirit of Gacy was in the theater?
By mistake.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I was doing what we call a newbie night, and I had like 12 people here that were investigating, never investigated anything before. And so we were doing that. Well, while I was in the back with them, teaching them how to listen for EVPs, I had 3 psychics and my wife and 2 other guys wandered through the building, through the house here, and they just kind of checked things out and everything. And he started picking up on a lot of stuff, and I'll keep this really short. He started picking up a lot of stuff and went in the basement and picked up on a jail cell, clowns and digging and everything down there. And then when they got to the 2nd floor, he picked up on an armoire that he didn't like at all. He said there was some really bad energy attached to that armoire, and he didn't realize at the time that armoire was owned by the attorney that represented John Wayne Gacy when he went for his appeal. Well, then they were talking in the theater room when they were talking about this stuff. My wife told him, it's like, I don't know if it makes a difference, but she actually had a roommate the roommate's brother was killed by John Wayne Gacy. And the other 2 guys that came with him that night handled all the paperwork when he went to prison. In the state of Illinois. So those 3 things there had kind of tossed some things out. And, besides that, we found other stuff too. That Gacy, he actually lived in Springfield, Illinois, which is like 20 minutes away.
Right.
He lived on Normandy Road, which my wife's name is Norma, her dad's name is Norman. Just all kinds of weird stuff. And Ashley had an experience at Ashmore the one night when I was down in Louisville or Lexington, Kentucky at Scarefest doing a podcast down there, and we were talking about John Wayne Gacy. Well, she had sent me a message or call, I forget which it was, and she said, "It's like Pep's had the weirdest experience. It's like we were using an SB7, I think it was, and it's like they were asking the names, and they came across and said, 'What's your name?' And they said, told him Gacy, and then she pretty much like, 'Oh hell no, you need to leave right now.'" So
that happened at Ashmore.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm. At the same time that he was doing a podcast talking about him.
Right.
Oh wow. Oh, that just gave me chills. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I think that was in Hannah's room, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was on the 3rd floor, I believe. Yeah.
I knew it was on the 3rd floor. That was right in that area. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to go to that. It's like an Alcatraz. It's called Alcatraz something. It's in Pigeon Forge in Tennessee, but they have like the whole clown suit and everything from Gacy and all the artifacts from like serial killers and cars and from Ted Bundy and all that stuff. And I don't know if I could live in a theater with Gacy.
I'm too old. My wife's the wrong sex.
Yeah.
Actually stayed here before.
Yeah.
How'd that go?
I
can tell by your face that it was very interesting.
It's interesting. I'll put it that way.
Brad Kling was here one night, spent the night here, and said the lights in the hallway kept going off and on. And he's like, look, I've been gone since this like trip for about 19 hours. He's like, talk to me tomorrow night. Leave me alone tonight.
Yeah, footsteps, big time in the hallway.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I know that you've done a lot of risk, like restoring the building. You guys have a lot of cleanup crews coming to help you. Well, not cleanup crews, like volunteers to come in to help you. Do you ever get anybody that tells you that something happened to them while they're cleaning and like volunteering, or is it more of kind of like you're cleaning my building, so I'm not going to mess with you type thing?
While she's thinking about that, I can tell you about one that this wasn't a volunteer, but this was doing, during the day we do tours out there once in a while. They're free. And we had 3 ladies that were doing a tour one day out there. And it was like, they just kind of wandered off through the building, gave them a little bit of history, just tell them, hey, just enjoy yourself, wander through the building, come on back down when you're done.
Yeah.
Well, they came back down and they were talking to me. Actually, was talking to somebody else. And they were talking to me, and they're like, it was the weirdest experience. He's like, I got in this one area, and I said, well, don't tell me where you were. And I said, but tell me what your experience was. She's like, my heart started racing. These are people that came up there to just enjoy going into the building. They're not into the paranormal whatsoever.
Right.
Like my heart started racing, and the other lady there said, yeah, I started feeling weird stuff in my heart too. And we talked a little bit about it, and she was like, I don't understand it. This never happened to me before. And I told him, I said, were you on the 3rd floor in the far corner on the, that far end? I kind of pointed to her because people don't know the north, south, east, west out there as much as we do. We're used to it. And she kind of looked at me kind of funny and almost turned white. She's like, that's exactly where I was. And I said, yeah, okay. And I said, because it happens there a lot. And then she couldn't hear me talking to him. And I said, watch. I said, I'll prove to you. And as she turned around, I said, if you're going to have your heart's going to race, where are you at in the building? And she's like, 3rd floor, far corner. And the woman was like, oh my God. So
her eyes they were like,
yeah.
Just mid conversation, just blah, 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 and just went back to your conversation.
Yeah. But it was just cool because they weren't there for any type of paranormal experience at all. They were just there to check out the building. So it happens, and it happens at any time with anybody. It just depends on what they're doing.
But I've had that happen just doing like so we do like 2-hour tours for people. Like if they just want to come out and see the building, or if like they want to come out and do a photo shoot, or, not necessarily looking to come investigate, but they want to come and like do a walkthrough. Right. I've done, tours where I had, grandparents who brought their 2 granddaughters out one time who were, they couldn't have been more than 10 or 11, something like that. And we were on the 2nd floor, and one of the granddaughters started slapping her grandma. And I'm like, what is going on? Well, we turn around and we all watched a ball roll down the hallway, and none of us were near it. So it's not like any of us kicked it by accident or anything like that. Right. So it's just little stuff like that happens when you're not even expecting it.
Oh. Now, did a lot of stuff happen when you were restoring the building? Because I know you guys put like windows in, and you're still working on the building. I know that much, but like the restoring, when you first got the building, was there a lot of activity when you were remodeling it, or restoring?
Yeah, we had a lot of different things going on. Just some quick things there is like my son, who's not in the paranormal whatsoever, was on the ceiling or the roof. The roof helped me put a roof on the place.
Right.
And he came downstairs, used the bathroom. I don't know why he came down, but he came downstairs and came back up the ladder. And he came up and he was looking pretty freaked out. And I said, what's going on? He's like, I just saw somebody walk through a gaping wall. I'm like, what? And he said, yeah. He said, something just walked through the wall down there. I'm like, what are you talking about? He said, I went down there. He said, there's a white door down there on the 3rd floor. And he said, I saw somebody walk behind that door. I went down to tell them that they can't be up here. They're not supposed to be up here in the building at all. They're supposed to be empty. And right. He's like, I go down there and there's no way. There's nothing behind that wall but a wall. Or behind that door. He's like, there's just a wall. And I had somebody else tell me the same that day that she saw the same thing up there. So that happened while we were doing it. I was in the boiler room down there. We were cleaning out the boiler room. And I told these 2 girls that were helping me down there, this was all in the middle of the afternoon. And as I'm walking towards the stairs in the boiler room, you know how you step on a shoelace and your foot kind of stops?
Yeah.
That's what happened. And I said, hey, let me tie my shoelaces real quick before I go up these stairs. And I looked down like, my shoelaces are all tied. It's like something just stopped my foot from moving. And so it's like, headed on upstairs. I had the experience with the electrical. I was up shooting pigeons one day, because we had a pigeon infestation inside the building, and they can cause histoplasmosis and cause problems for you. And I was up there, and I heard somebody walking up the back stairs. And then I heard he's up shooting pigeons. And I was like, walked over to the stairway, and I yelled down there, hello, and nobody answered me. So I walked down to the first floor, and Dave Lowry, rest in peace, was sitting there at the front door. And I said, hey, Dave, I said, who are you talking to? He's like, what? I'm like, no, you were in the building here. Talk to somebody on the back stairs. He's like, nah, I haven't gone inside the building since you went upstairs. I'll make sure nobody came in here. I'm like, well, they know I'm up shooting pigeons because I heard as plain as day that I was up shooting pigeons.
Wow.
So it happens. We had all kinds of stuff going on. I had some people that were helping me. We were having lunch downstairs in the team room area, and I heard people walking down the hallway, and I got up to look to see who it was, and I didn't see anybody there. I said, you guys hear that? And they said, no, they didn't. So I sitting down, we're having lunch, and I heard it again, but I didn't move. I just sat there, just keeping lunch. And the one guy's like, I just heard somebody walking down the hallway. And I said, I heard it too. We got up and looked, there was nobody there. But I mean, stuff like that happens all the time. It's like I said, you don't have to be investigating. You just gotta listen.
Right.
And there's a some graffiti that I've left on the building down there on the first floor by the stairs. At the bottom of it says, these walls can talk, open your mind and listen. And that's so true in that building. It's like you just gotta listen. Because I think spirits want to talk to you, but you got to pay attention to them also just by listening.
So when do you guys, I know a lot of haunt owners and everything, they walk in and they say, hi, ghost, or hello, it's me. Do you guys ever just walk in and say hello and somebody says hello back? Has that ever happened?
I've not had it happen to me, but that I can think of anyway. But I do go in there a lot of times and like, hey, I'm back. Guys probably didn't realize I think I'd ever come back again or something because I didn't be out there. I haven't had the need to be out there. I got this great person to take care of things for me out there now, so I haven't had to. So
I wonder who you're talking about.
But yeah, I haven't had the need to. But I did have, just on the flip side of that, and I was just talking about this tonight. I think I mentioned to Ashley, is I used to leave there on Sunday afternoons or Sunday evenings, something like that. I'd get ready to leave, and I've had heart problems anyway. So when I get ready to leave, my heart would skip into AFib, which is an irregular heartbeat.
Right.
It was like, are you kidding me? It's like, so then I'm driving 2 hours home, and my heart's doing all these weird flip-flop stuff and everything. And it's, it's just the way it is. And then I would change back at some point in time. So I talked to Charlie, who owns Waverly Hills. And I mentioned him. I said, you have any experiences like this? I said, I told him, he said, yeah. He said, I used to drive down to the gate. And when I opened the gate to leave, he said, my heart would start racing. And he said, I said, what'd you do? He's like, I finally just said, look, I'm coming back. I'm not leaving. I'll be back. And so like, I got to try that. So I've tried it after about a month or two of having this happen to me all the time. And it's never happened since. So
wow,
it's either coincidence or they listened, which should be good because a lot of people out there don't listen to me.
They needed their reassurance. Do you get the same thing, Ash? Or you never really technically leave?
Yeah, I'm here all the time, so they're stuck with me.
But do you get the same sensation, like when you leave the building to go to your house? Does it feel weird going from there to there, or?
Not really, because I think they come over here, so I think they know I'm here. I mean, when I go over to the building, I do, like when I open the door, I do say, hi guys, or, good night or something like that. I mean, I've never had anybody say anything as soon as I walk in the door. I mean, there have been times, obviously, when I'm over there that I've heard stuff or, heard footsteps or banging or stuff like that. But nothing is like as soon as I open the door. I mean, most of the time when I open the door, like I feel fine and I can walk in by myself and it doesn't bother me. There are times here and there where I do open the door and you can definitely feel like that. Oh, this is going to be interesting, or this is going to be an interesting night for whoever is here. Yeah. So you can definitely tell a difference once in a while if it's, ramped up or something like that.
Do you think they know that people are coming to investigate?
Oh, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no doubt in my mind about that because I
Yeah.
even had some of the investigators tell me that they've already been talking to them before they get there.
Oh yeah, I've had people tell me that they've had dreams about the place, or they've had dreams about certain people, or they've had people come to them, or tell them about stuff. Or so there's two porches on the front of the building.
Yeah.
I've had people who will get here early, like before I go over and open the door, which the door is locked. We have an alarm on it, so there's absolutely nobody in the building before I go over there. And I will have people when I go over there, and they'll ask me, who's in the building. And I'll say, well, nobody, because I'm unlocking the door and turning the alarm off. And they'll say, well, no, because we saw somebody standing on the porch watching us. And I'm like, oh, well, there's nobody living in there anyway. So
Yeah.
I don't know who was watching, but
And that's been pretty regular too lately.
Yeah. Yeah.
And those two porches, there's no access to those two porches from inside the building. There's deadbolt locked doors.
Yeah.
The only way
we keep them locked. So
those are locked all the time.
Yeah. Oh, like congratulations, you got your first experience. Now welcome.
Well, and then even over here, there was I don't know, maybe a month ago or so. So we have four other girls who help out doing the investigations and tours and stuff, so that I'm not completely insane.
Right.
And Holly was actually here one weekend, and I was actually gone. I wasn't even home. And she said the group that was here was out by the tree, out back behind the building. And they told her they saw a shadow walk by my living room window from inside my house. And they thought it was her because so where I'm sitting is on the end of my house, and it's like a mother-in-law suite kind of place.
Right.
So like when Robin comes over, he stays here, or the girls can stay over here. So they thought she had came over here. But when they walked back in the building, she was still in the building. So there was actually nobody at my house, but yet they swear they saw a shadow walk by my living room window.
Do you see anything like that when you're home?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Just a couple of weeks ago, Ashley and I were hanging a sign in her grandma's
yeah.
her grandma's room, and we were putting it up there. And I told her, like, somebody just came in the back door. And she's like, I didn't hear anything. I said, I heard the back door open. And
I didn't hear it.
I'm about as sensitive as a rock. And nothing else. But I heard it. And we weren't even paying attention to anything other than putting the sign up. Because it was a pretty good size. It was a 2x6 sign that we were putting up there, and about 3-4 foot long. And so she went out and checked. There was like nothing there. So then we started putting the sign back up. And then she heard somebody walking through the house.
Yeah.
And, I didn't hear the footsteps, but she heard footsteps walking through the house and went out and checked it again. So their stuff happens over there. I've heard voices over there myself. It doesn't make any difference on the grounds anywhere. You can hear stuff, see stuff, and we've had people that have seen people walking through the yard.
Yeah,
that they've seen them walking through the yard. We've had them back there by the back trees, seeing them standing back there. I've had experienced investigators staying in the bunkhouse that heard music and singing out back before. And with some other non-experienced, people that were there due to a public investigation, got up and went out back and looked, and they didn't see anybody. There was nobody out there, and they all heard it. There was like 8-9 people that all heard people out back singing and playing at 3 o'clock in the morning, playing music and singing at 3 o'clock in the morning. There was nobody there.
Like people are sitting around a fire or something, or wow. Yep. So since the last time I talked to you to now, you guys have an outhouse. Is the outhouse haunted too? I have to know.
There's a lot of ghost poop in it, probably.
Yeah. And I just saw you guys are doing a brick program where you guys somebody can make their brick and they be part of Ashmore. How does that work?
Yeah, so we're doing like a brick fundraiser. So we're gonna build a brick path out to the outhouse, because there's nothing leading to the outhouse. So obviously, when it rains, it's all muddy, and so we're gonna do a brick path out there. And then we have another area that we call Hannah's patio or Hannah's garden. So we want to redo that, so make it like kind of like a memorial garden.
Yeah.
2 different areas that you can choose from. And all the information is on our Facebook page. So you can order bricks. There's 2 different sizes. I believe there's 4 different colors. And you can pick from different logos that they have. Or if you have a logo of your own, you can send to them and they can put it on there. And then words. And you can buy a brick to have out at Ashmore for people to see forever. So you can be out here forever.
That's awesome. I'm definitely gonna have to put my name there. I got the merch. Now I need a brick.
Yeah. See, definitely.
So, and I don't want to cut it short or anything, but what is there anything new coming from Ashmore? I know we're about to get into the creepy season. We're about to get into haunt season and everything. Is there anything that you guys want to promote that's coming up with Ashmore?
We do have some public tours come up at the end of the month, and I forget the date offhand. I'd have to look, let you know.
October 25th.
26th, 25th, yeah.
25th.
Okay.
Yeah, October 25th. We're doing public tours. I think they start at 1. They're like 90 minutes each. The flyer is on our website, ashmoreestates.net. So you can find it on the Facebook page also. So 90 minutes a piece. We'll sell 15 tickets each to them. And it's basically just like a small history tour walking through the building. You can do those. That'll be the last basically public thing that we're doing this year. Of course, you can always, do the daytime investigations, the nighttime investigations. We do 2-hour tours. We are booked, Friday and Saturdays up until I think the 3rd weekend in December. We are booking for 2026 already. So if anybody is looking to book for 2026, especially if you're looking for a Friday, Saturday, definitely look at it sooner than later because they are starting to fill up already.
Got you. One of my really good friends were just there for Last Words Paranormal, Carrie.
Okay.
They were there a couple weeks ago, I think.
Okay.
I think I remember seeing them there a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And they said they loved it.
Yeah,
so,
they were a good group. I remember them.
I want to go even more. Every time I talk to you guys, I want to get there more and more and more. One of these days. And I know you're pretty new to the show, but at the end of the show, we do a question of the week. If there's anybody watching in the comments or watching right now, put your answer in the comments, or if you're watching this later, put it in the comments below. But this is the question of the week, guys. So, like I said in the comments, write down, would you rather feel a spirit or would you rather see a spirit? Anybody?
I know you want us to answer or not.
Oh, yeah. No, you can answer if you want.
So, yep. We're probably going to have the same answer, but I would say C.
Well, yeah, because I feel them all the time, so I would rather see them. I feel them more than I see them, so I would rather see them.
Got you. All right. Well, anybody in the comments, we got a couple people watching right now. Leave it in the comments. I'll leave a couple minutes to where you comment. If there was one thing that you guys want to do with Ashmore, what would it be? Like, I know you guys are trying to restore it and everything and get it back to what it was. What's the goal for Ashmore?
I think we're pretty much like not trying to restore anything else. Now it's more of a maintain type situation. But
as long as I can keep it standing for another 100 years, I'd be okay. That's my goal. Of course, I won't be here, but As long as I can keep it standing until I'm gone, then I'm good.
Yeah, I'm kind of like someone along that same line too. I think we've pretty we're still doing little things here and there, but nothing stupendous, nothing crazy, nothing that most people would probably even notice. But we do try to pop in some additional little frill things here and there. I mean, it's like last year I put a asphalt parking lot in. Nobody probably really pays much attention to that, but it was $15,000 parking lot that we added on out there. So just like last year we did the outhouse, or this year I guess when it was. Then I did it last year. Yeah, last year I put an outhouse in out there just so that people didn't have to spend money during the for the porta potty that we bring in. So I think when we increased the fees this year, there's a lot more involved than just bumping the money up. It's not like we're taking and not using the money for that property, because we are. I mean, we're doing more and more stuff all the time out there to try to improve things. And people who have been out there quite a few times have noticed that. I mean, when I bought it, there was no bunkhouses, so we've got a place for people to stay. There's nobody. Not many people now have that. Every once in a while, you see somebody pop in with that, but not often. There's a kitchen area in there. There's a pizza oven in there. There's all kinds of stuff in there.
There's a shower.
So yeah, there's a shower. There's 2 bathrooms inside, 1 bathroom outside, plus an outhouse. And a lot of places don't even have electricity.
Yeah.
We have no problems with that. So there's, as far as we think that you're getting a lot more for your money than some locations that you go to. I mean, we allow 12 people, and you can 15 hours is what you're going to be out there. So it's not a bad option for people that are interested, in the paranormal. And as I've had somebody told me that Todd Bonner from up in Detroit area told me that this was like the paranormal Hilton. And Bill Chappell, who had digital dowsing, told me the place was like a paranormal mecca. He said he couldn't, that what was done out there. So that people that come out there, they always come back. So we're doing something right.
That's awesome. I'll get out there one of these days, guys. But I want to greatly appreciate you guys coming on and finally meeting you, Ashley. I appreciate you coming on and speaking with us.
Thank you for having me.
Hopefully I could see you guys one day in person and we can have some fun in the awesome Ashmore. Hopefully one day. But if anybody's watching this, put the comments below. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, and hit that bell. It helps me out. It helps this show out so we can keep talking to these awesome mall owners. But remember, always stay creepy, friends. Have a good night.